All right, Jared, thank you so much, man, for jumping on a call with me for a Bit Byte interview. It's great to have you.
Thanks for having me. Always love chatting with you.
Yeah, no, it's good fun. For everyone listening, we're starting this now, but we just spent the last 20-30 minutes chatting beforehand. So and then we got to a point where we kind of were like, oh, we're here for a podcast interview. So decided to maybe turn on the recording and start recording all the things we're already discussing. So sorry that everyone kind of just missed out on all the juicy stuff before. Yeah, no, so good to have you on. I'm really pumped to talk about Mash and the really awesome things that you guys are doing. Obviously, BitByte uses your services, and we partnered maybe two months ago. I'd say it was yeah, about 2 months ago when we first launched BitByte. And like obviously, just from my perspective, it's been incredible. It's been really awesome. We'll be able to talk about that a little bit more later on. But I guess to start things off, for people who are here who don't know you, don't follow you on Twitter, give us a bit of a introduction to yourself and a bit of an elevator pitch for Mash.
Sure, sounds great. So I guess I'm Jared. I'm from Toronto. I sort of like to break down my life or passions into two big buckets. One is, I'd say, entrepreneurial product guy building in Bitcoin right now. And so my career is sort of half my career, I'd say, has been that. And the other side is a big fan of real world, real person in life experiences. So huge into, I guess, you'll catch me paddling rivers. I started an adventure travel company and drove a bus around the country, taking expats around and travelers. Yeah, I used to be a guide for the outdoors as well.
Yeah,
And
nice.
oh, elevator pitch for Mash
Yeah,
is Mash is dedicated to helping people earn and reward and grow their business with their users by leveraging the power of Bitcoin plus Lightning Network and the primitives that are, enabled from that, which are, I'd call, small, instant, programmable payments that can be, sent anywhere around the world. So everything from, let's not make likes based on bots and one like per person. Let's make money talk. So let's add voting with sats, or let's make donations automatic and instant for the right amount. Or instead of subscribing, why don't you just pay one time to access the information for the right businesses that this makes sense for? And so we're experimenting with lots of new types of products that have never been able to exist before, rather than, there are going to be lots of successful businesses that are, how do you buy a coffee with Bitcoin easily in a store? And those are going to be huge. We're focused on all these new random, weird, fun things that we can now experiment with and unlock for businesses to change the way the internet's monetized.
yeah, no, it's a perfect elevator pitch. And obviously agree with it because especially the part of creating products and services and features that literally don't exist. For me, like when we first caught up, I wasn't like completely sure on what it was or the features. I think I had a baseline idea, and then I remember the first time we caught up, it was like, oh, also we have this, we're launching this, and in the future we're doing this. And I was like, I didn't even know you could do that. Not even just with like Bitcoin and Lightning. I'm like, I didn't even know that that was like an option. So it's really crazy, and with all the new features that you guys have been putting out recently, is evidence of all these things that bringing to the market, stuff that people honestly haven't even thought of before, which is it's a real massive testament to the work that you guys are doing. For you personally, how did you first get into Bitcoin? What is your, I love asking this obviously, what's your orange pill story?
Um, I like to, I go back. I've had a few touch points with Bitcoin. Probably first time 2012, 2013, colleague at work. I was at Google, working there, actually mid switch over to officially be a product manager. And someone asked me, "Hey, what do you think about this Bitcoin thing? It seems to, be taking off." And I like to say I think I was smart enough to say I don't know enough about this to have an opinion, but I
Yeah.
probably was like, I don't know, how can this be real? How can you create scarcity like with a digital currency? This makes no sense. I probably said that, but I'm going to go with the former to stroke my ego. I then heard about it at another touch point, let's say 2017. in like the crazy retail bull excitement market when all of a sudden Bitcoin was like 20,000 for a day. I don't remember it vividly. I don't really look back and like, but I remember thinking it's like, okay, every single person I know is talking about this. I am too late to the party. So I ignored it again. I'd left Google probably 6, 8 months later. And I was sort of disenfranchised with tech, and it would have been a perfect time to start digging into Bitcoin because I had time to figure out what it was, but I didn't. I had ended up starting a real world adventure travel business. And what happened was it was February 2020. I had been scaling the business. I had a bunch of guides the year before. I had like 5 guides hired, about to buy a bunch more vehicles. Now, this is not like a fundable business, so it's all my money, just buying buses and like trying to scale this thing, which is a whole epic adventure that I'm very happy I did. But getting, I'd call pandemic wasn't ideal, right? International long form travel in Canada, bringing all those people to Canada across multiple provinces in a is not the right place to be given what happened in this country. And basically, I just took the next 6 months to explore all the different things that I'd heard about and had touch points, and I thought there might be something there. And probably a few months in, it was like, okay, I asked a buddy who's super into Bitcoin. I'm like, tell me about this Bitcoin thing. Where do I start? It was like, read gradually, then suddenly read the Bitcoin standard, read the white paper, go from there. And basically it was, now I'm on 3-hour walks, just like in the middle of winter. So it must have been earlier. Yeah, it was probably like February, March when I started. It's like -20 and I'm walking for 3 hours listening to like various podcasts. And then I saw Lightning Network, and I think it was Sphinx Chat, and experiment with Y'alls and like a bunch of other very, very early products. I think I'd zapped desktop, and I was like spinning up a node with my node, and just I'm like, holy crap, you can send these payments, you can do anything. And also understanding monetary history, like I dug into a lot of that and a lot of other reading. I basically was just like devouring information, and basically became a Bitcoiner that way because the facts are the facts.
Yeah, that's awesome. Did you ever have a altcoin season? There's so many people that I talk to that have this weird, like even me included, go Bitcoin, kind of get bored, and then jump into altcoins for a year or something.
So I'd say, like, what are the touch points, or where did I engage with altcoins? Let's take a few different pieces. So one is, I'm like, how do I get as much Bitcoin do I need? I'm like, oh, I can click these buttons on Coinbase, get this, whatever this shit is, and just sell it for Bitcoin. So I don't know if that counts as an altcoin season. The other one was when I was starting Mash, or even beforehand, it was like, should this be Bitcoin and Lightning? There's different people here who were saying, oh, build it on ETH and do X, Y, and Z. And so I'm like, okay, I'll message the people at Polygon. I'll message the people at Algorand, like whatever these things that were whatever these things that were hot back in 2020, I guess. And I didn't get any response. I couldn't find any businesses building with them. I couldn't find any information. I'm like, okay, these are whatever they are. Like there could be something there, but it's not monetary. And so basically, I'd say that was my altcoin season. And maybe like getting some BAT and Brave. I'm like, free money. It's like all Advantage in the 90s when they used to pay out advertising dollars to individuals to have like this banner bar. I'm like, okay, I'm getting these checks for $100 like a mouse that's fake moving around the screen all day.
So good. Yeah, no, it's interesting. The altcoin season. I think yours was a bit more pure than other altcoin seasons. So obviously Bitcoin only for yourself personally and Bitcoin only for Mash. Why is that important? Like now, obviously having launched Mash, and it's spending some time as well, I guess, in the Bitcoin community yourself. Why would you say Bitcoin only is so important?
So let's hit it from a few different lenses, and I'll hit from let's say the most altruistic is I believe in Bitcoin, and I believe it's the future of money and payments, and has the only right primitives to work. So sorry, that was sort of mixed, but there's like one as I'm a Bitcoiner, and I think it's important as a monetary instrument to be used in lots of unique ways to be adopted. That's the altruistic reason. The second reason, so business-wise, it has the best regulatory story, right? From anything. It is the least amount of, like, I'd say, regulatory capture. It's available in almost such, if not every country in the world easily, with exchanges to go on and off, even though there's lots of issues with that. It's the most socially understood, and it can be used the most interoperable ways everywhere. And it's decentralized, so it's not going to get shut down. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, it has all of the things for long-term success. It just works. Like I don't want to hear about, oh, this layer 2 might work on this thing that people might not believe in, that they're investing in as a token pump and dump. Okay. And there's the second order question, which maybe you'll ask me. I was like, what about USD, or what about stable coins or stable sats? And I think we start with, what do our users want and what provides value? And does this provide incremental value for us to spend our time on that and implementing it for our use cases? And, maybe that's the gateway to Bitcoin, or it's needed to, add digital money into the internet. And I haven't seen that yet. We haven't had the indicators that, okay, we're losing out on 50% of users because it's not this thing. If we were remittance going global, that's a different story. It's a different use case, a different customer set, and you can't just go full, what's the right term? Anyways, I forget the word, but so we're Bitcoin only. It's business, it's altruistic, but really it's like there's no rational reason for us to invest the time right now to add anything else, except for maybe like sell your shitcoin and get onto Bitcoin as an on-ramp. And so we'll probably add that, a one-way ticket.
Yeah, no, it's good. So would you say that Bitcoin is like, is it part of the Mash ethos? Like if you found out that, that there was a marker on the Ethereum, in the Ethereum community for Mash, let's say it would boost, there's a whole market there for you guys to dive into. Is that something that Mash would be interested in? Or is it like, nah, like doesn't matter, we are Bitcoin only, like this is core to who we are?
I think it's there's a few things. I can't figure out what would be there that we'd have to integrate.
Yeah.
So
very hypothetical.
So it's like it's very hypothetical. Now, if there was something so amazing there that all the Bitcoiners now wanted it too, then it's like, there's our answer. Because it's like, decentralized X, whatever you want to call it. But if it's like, let's add in this token as money, because that's like the base primitive we're using in our products, money and like the positive human experience. If we can't add any of those that are net new and valuable, then it's not worth our time. And so the other part, which is like philosophically or like from a culture basis, I'd say half of our team were like hardcore Bitcoiners before starting, or very into it, not in the like Twitter toxic, loud megaphone way. Like there's a lot of very loud voices that I think represent a very small percentage of people that actually care about Bitcoin. And then the other half actually who weren't Bitcoiners, we talked to them, they learned about it before joining the team or before we made an offer. And then like, if you look at our onboarding, it's like, you have to get this book and read it. You have to watch the original like lightning bolt spec like presentation. You have to read this series. You have to read, these things and get into it. And then, I ask questions about it a few weeks later to see if they actually did it. And then we find out. But successfully orange pilled a lot of people who've joined the team and now are Bitcoin only. And like, we don't have shiny object syndrome. So it's not like, oh, there's this new thing. It's like, what does it actually add?
Nah, that's awesome. I love the onboarding part. Very Bitcoin evangelism, Brian DeMint style. Definitely a page out of his book, I think, there, which is really cool. It's like, don't block out the altcoiners or people who aren't Bitcoin only. Don't be like that toxic maximalist. So no, that's really awesome. Continuing on with Mash and the history of Mash, what inspired the creation of Mash? Like, how did the idea of what Mash is now kind of birth, I guess?
I think so. I'll actually answer the question in a second. But I think the idea of what Mash is continuously morphing. It's always and ever changing as we learn. But what was like I don't think there was an aha moment, but there was this is the thing to do moment, and this is where we're gonna aim first. So I look back and think, all these different touch points throughout, my life and people's on the team's life. It was like, okay, to deal with the payments network, accepting credit cards when I was like 14 online. It was like taking a 30% cut and dealing with chargebacks. I had to do a mass like refund program when we shut down basically Google offers the Groupon clone when I was working there, and dealing with that system. They're like, it might break. We have no idea with all the data processors, no idea what was going to happen. To sending and receiving money globally. So I saw payments challenges. Then it was, I worked in display ads for a bit, and you would see all the difficulties with earning and making money online for people who are publishing and creating experiences, and you're sort of stuck in these two models, and it led you down this like disinformation train of like clickbait, etc. And so in sort of this aggregation of experience and control. And so seeing all these touch points, and then the second you saw, oh, we can put money with any amount and use it programmatically in all these new ways, it unlocks other ways to earn and reward people and do these new things that's never been possible. And so it's sort of like you wrap all these problems of like, I can't make money without shoving ads everywhere or charging people and being an aggregator because it's subscriptions, large upfront payments, or X, or I can't do giveaways unless it's like this one big thing. It's like the whale, it's whales only here. Now you can do all this new stuff. So that was sort of the beginning. I think a lot of the original experiences were like about pay to use and different things that were less fun and less humanized. And we're sort of shifting more into, I'd say, more of like a Bitcoin fund company.
Yeah.
We like to call it internally. We're now going to be Bitcoin fund.
Yeah. I think you guys definitely deserve that tag for sure. I think that's a great description. I guess building on top of the whole fun tag that you guys have, run us through the different features offered with Mash. I know there is so many, but like, yeah, run us through kind of the core ones that you guys offer.
Sure. I like to think of, we sort of have three and four pillars. One is I'd call it pay as you enjoy or pay per use. And that's for content and web apps. So rather than being forced to subscribe or having a paywall requiring a subscription, just one-time pay. And so what we do there is we sort of have a connected but open and interoperable system. Is anyone who's a publisher who has content of any sort that they want to ask people to pay for, they can no code add basically a mini paywall, requires a one-time payment, and a consumer or user, they can have a wallet, they can bring their own Lightning wallet, or they can get a Lightning wallet with Mash without downloading it right on the site and click pay, confirm it, set up a budget with that, publisher, and then auto pay every time. It's a premium experience. And the same thing applies to, I'd call, web apps and tools. So why should I pay $20 a month for, this one thing I want to use one time? Like I want to create this dope meme from like image flip. It's like, why do I need to subscribe to this? I don't need to subscribe. I know I don't need to subscribe. Let me just I'm not memeing the most amazing things every single day. Let me just pay per use. And so that's product one. Product two is, not product two, that's pillar one. Pillar two is all around donations, which is, we have a very early part of our product suite there, which is like one-click donations on a page from users. We should be able to add like different messaging features and different interconnected things, or like auto donate per page view or per use of an app that a user can decide and build those connections. And so we have a few features in there, and we'll have crowdfunding. And I'd say a lot of our differentiation is it's not about come to Mash and live on our thing and we're this new platform. It's just add it to your own site, add it to your link in bio, add it to your wherever your home is, and build your audience. If you don't like us, you just remove us. So we need to provide value and integrate easily into an experience. And then pillar three, we're calling community and fan experiences. And so we just launched our first one, which was voting with Sats, which we did for this, which I'm very excited about the winning question.
Yes.
And so you have leaderboards. It's the beginning of sort of, I'd say, more fun community interactive experiences with money. And I don't want to give away too much because we're iterating on some next versions of what that is. And so that's like sort of like on the, I'd say, creator, builder, developer side. So like we do have an SDK that people can build from our primitives and things like that. And then on the consumer side, so like you get a Lightning wallet, it lives on a page. You can get money in it instantly. You'll be able to load money in a variety of different ways, send money back and forth to any user. And pretty soon, I'm not sure when this is going to be released, will have like a cross experience, like an offline experience. So like you will have like a way to use it on your mobile device anywhere you want in a variety of ways. So it's not sort of trapped in Mash experiences or just this web GUI that we haven't looked at in a while. So it'll be a first
Yeah.
class citizen very soon.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, the features are fantastic, and it's cool because there's such a wide variety of different features for different types of people. Like it's podcasters, blogs, like just influencers, anyone. Uh, who would you say Mash and the Mash products and those three different pillars are targeted for mostly? Who are you seeing, I guess, also like the types of businesses and individuals that are coming in and using Mash?
Um, I think a lot of it's who we're talking to is influencing who's using it versus like just pure inbound discovery. Um, I think we have, I don't want to answer, so it's I think lots of there's like natural ones like yeah sure I'll add a donation and a boost button, but is that providing the most value or the most excitement for something, or
Mm,
we're going to impact like what questions are asked at this conference or difficult things for charity, and like those are getting tons of views, and that's like a conference, it's a live event. And
yeah.
so we're just seeing the way we're focused right now. This is like me not answering the question because it's a very hard question to answer. It's not like I'm hiding from it. It's we're learning so much from these experiments with different partners that's helping us figure out where to properly aim um, those use cases and make them good enough that it's like, oh, this is perfect for X. And I don't think we
Mm.
have all the best answers there. We have lots of people who are early adopters, enthusiasts, but we're not sure yet if it's like, oh, this is actually amazing for bread and butter for everyone.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that makes total sense. And especially with like the stage that you guys are in at the moment, the kind of like pulling a little bit more data, getting a bigger sample size to see where this is the best applied, I guess, and makes the most sense.
8 months ago, we were 7 people, right?
Wow.
Okay, we're now 11. Am I doing my math right? Yeah, we're now 11 people. We just had
Yeah.
a few, like 3 folks join the team on the engineering side in the past month and a half, some like a week ago. So we're going to accelerate a lot from here.
Yeah.
But we have
So it's early
we have a lot to
days,
do. Yes,
very
very
early
early.
days. Yeah, yeah. No, that's super exciting. I guess, yeah, even being such early days, are there any success stories that have already emerged? Um, I guess defining success story for this would be any businesses or individuals that you have helped engage with their audience and monetize their content. Yeah, any success stories around that?
I think we've had lots of people basically say, oh, this has 2x or 3x my donations, or I'm now able to monetize a new way and it's done uplift of X%, right? Do we have someone that said, I've completely flipped my entire business model to pay as you enjoy? No. We have additive fun experience that people say, holy shit, that was awesome. I'm going to do this again and again because they had fun with it and it provide value to them and their users. And it's additive beyond just the money they earn. It's because of how they build community with it. But I think we're still very early
Mm,
and we have some partners that we're building some really interesting new stuff for that I can't share just yet. That I think based on all those learnings are going to be, pretty big winners. But I'd say if we had those examples of we completely changed everything about your business, we'd be in like scale mode like crazy, and you wouldn't want to hear from me because we'd be running around just talking and just
yeah, yeah.
aggressive promotion.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And like obviously I can already like testify for like what Mash has done for BitBite, but it's exactly the same as like what you just said. It's like it's just added a fun aspect to a pre-existing like business model or service that we already had. Like it's just an extra layer for the community for BitBite personally, and like for me that is extremely valuable. It may seem small, just adding in a donation button, but the engagement that comes from that, and like especially with this voting system that we did, it's like it's worth its weight in gold, honestly. Um,
Weight in
I'm,
gold.
it's weight in
Or,
gold. Have
yeah,
you heard?
I thought we were talking Bitcoin.
Oh, weight in Bitcoin. Oh my gosh, I'm cutting that out. That's been blurred. Beep.
So I'm like cheesy joke from me over
I,
here.
I'm
You're cheese.
gonna get crucified in the chat now. That's funny. Um, that's
All right.
I did a that reminds me. I did a interview on uh, uh, Bitcoin Beast's podcast the other week, and I was chatting and stuff, and I kept referring as like for multiple Bitcoin as Bitcoins, and it's just like happened. And I know that Brian Demint hates that term so much, and then I didn't even know I was doing it, but then when it was posted, I listened to it, and I like cringed every time I heard myself say Bitcoins, 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 and I was like, oh god, so. I gave Brian a heads up and I said, don't listen to this because you're going to get triggered. And he's like, thank you. I won't.
I that's amazing. I also think that whole just you saying Bitcoins 5 times in a row right now should be the intro
Yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
the show.
Bitcoins and blockchain technology. That should be the title of this video. That's
Yes.
hilarious.
How else are you going to track your real estate ownership?
That's it. Yeah. Oh my God, that's hilarious. I'm trying to think of like I'm not aware of many other competitors or companies who are offering kind of the same level as what Mash is. But what would you say sets Mash apart from other platforms in, I guess, a similar service? Because I don't think you're in a very specific service, but I guess broadly, how would Mash kind of stand out from the crowd?
So let's talk. I can talk. Maybe let's talk Bitcoin businesses broadly, and I think where
Yeah,
we slot in. And then compared to let's say non-Bitcoin businesses per se.
perfect.
So you have the like, I'm a mobile wallet. I want to get you Lightning and Bitcoin, and I want to get you paying for things offline, etc. Okay, completely separate than us. There's some overlap, but that's a different use case. Then there is the like, that plus remittance and global payments as a rail, different business. There's a bunch of, I'd call it like Lightning infrastructure companies. Let's say like Lightspark, River's offering it, Zebedee's offering it. And they're saying, okay, you go build the use cases with Lightning as a primitive and you'll build it in your own platforms. And we could provide that fairly, it wouldn't be very hard for us to extend our service, but we're sort of leaning into the use case experience business, that interface to iterate on to make these things happen. Some of them are still doing that as well. And you also have, let's say, like you have things like Geyser, or you have, I think, Emeralize, or there's a bunch of experiences like that are saying, oh, come, we're like the Bitcoin crowdfunding platform. We're the Bitcoin education platform. You load your content education here, and then you sell it, etc. And I think those are taking the platform approach of like, we have a destination, we'll make it really easy and help you monetize things. We're saying, actually, we plug in and add all these features to your site, to your experience where you exist, so that you get all the audience. And we're just a tool that enables you to do these things. That's sort of like our bread and butter, along with like it's called like payment systems for different purposes, and a consumer wallet that just like anyone can get onto Bitcoin and Lightning to help cross that chasm. So it's not just Bitcoiners. And so we have this sort of like started with an integrated system that expanded outward and become more open and more interoperable. So you don't have to sign up, you don't have to like log in to use it as a user. But really it's like we plug into sites. We are like inject with no code, that you click a few buttons, you type some things, upload an image, and away you go. And so we're trying to make it the easiest way to add Bitcoin monetization, donations, community, and fun to any site and experience around the web, where it's a layer on top and not just the one thing for one use case. So completely separate strategy. I know I've been on a rant. You probably have lots of questions about that. I'd say the last thing I want to say is the best parallel would be, I think, what Zebedee did for games. We're doing for different types of content, media, entertainment, and fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And then on the other side for non-Bitcoin businesses, I guess like it's a whole nother market, isn't it? Like, but I guess comparing to them, just for entertainment's sake, I guess, where would Mash fit in there uniquely?
So I'm talking, it's obviously abstract because we are fairly broad in our toolkit as we're
Yeah.
trying to find it. It's like you have the ads world, you have the rewards and promotions world, you have the subscription and paid for content world, and you have the points world, like buy credits on my system and pay with credits type of things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we're sort of a replacement to pay with credits. And this is a question of friction for getting Bitcoin or friction for getting credits or tokens. And the other ones, I don't think we really compete with those models. We're alternatives. And so the question is, we're creating these net new things. When can we plug in to those current businesses where Bitcoin isn't like a question mark of, should I do this with this? Will this alienate some of my audience? And so you could see there's different like layers of where we can aim at, where there would be adoption. And I think that's the tricky part is when you have something so amazing that's so net new, like we're not there yet, they're going to want to plug it in. It just becomes when we get there and when those concerns are alleviated, which is also why Bitcoin is better than like whatever other thing they've never heard of.
Amen to that. No, absolutely. And I can attest for the simplicity of the widgets and add-ons and plugins and everything, because it's the no code aspect for me personally. Like, I'm not a coder, I'm not good with that stuff. Like, I like designing things, I'm like creative, like business, but just not coding or that stuff. And that was the first thing that was super intimidating for me when I was thinking about jumping on with Mash, because I was like, this is just going to be such a headache. But the no code aspect of it it's so simple. It makes it seem like it was easy, but I know that building that infrastructure and building that is not a simple thing to do. So obviously hats off for the team behind that, who literally are building products and building the infrastructure around that idea of making it easy for people like me who need that no code aspect. So I love that part of Mash. I guess moving on from that as well is, what has been the most difficult part of creating Mash? Has it been the building the no code infrastructure, or has there been another aspect that has kind of been like the most difficult so far?
I feel like it's like every 2 weeks this answer will change.
What's difficult now?
what is stressing me out today, because no matter what, it's like do more, make it better, make it faster. What's that song? Is it like Daft Punk? But is it a Daft Punk? Faster, better. So what is it? Faster, better, stronger.
Oh God, I have no idea.
Okay, I completely butchered that.
Someone's gonna comment it and be like, "How did you guys not know it's this one?"
I think even Kanye sampled it. I'm gonna get butchered for this this.
Both are. God damn it!
Don't cut it out.
I won't.
Or that.
I'm gonna play the music right now. Oh,
I have like my Spotify there. Okay, I now completely forgot the question.
What is the current most difficult aspect of building Mash?
Okay, so it's like there's so many variables, so many moving pieces, but I think the hardest thing is always learning. At first, actually, let me go through the story. It's like, at first is, how do you find the best partners to build this with, right? And like, I think our team is absolutely outstanding right now, but at first it was like, this is a huge challenge. And it's like, what do we build first? How much do you invest in different types of products? How do you experiment? How do you know when something's working and when it's not? What feedback is real versus just someone's random ideas? And like, that's the job, right? And keep everyone motivated and happy, because nothing's overnight, right? You look at, everyone thinks that they're going to be like, they see the social network, like Zuckerberg throws up a website and then all of a sudden it's a resounding success. It's like, this is a game of getting punched in the face all day long, every single day, which I love and is fine, and just making sure everyone on the team is happy and excited. But it's always changing, and there's so much ambiguity, which I'm comfortable with. Everyone on the team is comfortable with, but like, you have a team of 5 people is very different than a team of 8 and very different than a team of 11. And how do you make everyone effective and communicate and working hard on the right problems, make decisions and move on with like not a lot of information? So I'm just describing basically like building a business.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah,
so it's like so it's all hard, but it's all fun. I like these challenges. It's why I'm, there's an aiming point. So if you set the aiming point appropriately, and you have the right culture and the right like way to think about it that everyone's aligned with, everything becomes a lot easier. And
yeah,
so I'm stressed about making everything as amazing as possible, and I'm impatient, so I probably drive everyone on the team nuts.
yeah,
But we all seem happy.
yeah. No, that's awesome. For the specifically for the no code aspect of the product, have you ever found, I guess, difficulty in balancing the need for control and customization with usability and accessibility for users who, like me, are not tech savvy?
Oh yeah, that's
That's
always the
the issue.
question. Is like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's like give them the extra button, but then the extra 15% of people have no idea what the hell to do with this thing.
yeah,
Um, but simplicity generally always wins, and structuring things in a way that are easily understandable, I think, always generally wins. But depending on which user set you go after, they have different needs. So it also becomes like you can't build for everyone because then you build for no one. And
yeah,
so,
yeah.
um, yeah, I'm not, I'm yeah, we watch people use our products a lot. And we have lots of issues that have to be fixed, and they'll never be perfect. And we're just continuously trying to see where there's challenges. So I like Steve Krug. I probably said his name wrong. He has two books. One is Don't Make Me Think, and the other one is Rocket Surgery Made Easy. So they're like in part of the onboarding for the team, which is like, if we're making anyone have to think about anything, we're doing something wrong. It should be so
Yeah,
intuitive that they like that it's just natural, or we have a pathway and there's no dead ends, etc. And then Rocket Surgery Made Easy is just like watch someone use their product, have them tell you what they're thinking, and it's better than any A/B test you'll ever do. You'll like
yeah,
just see what people don't get because
yeah,
you don't know because you use it all the time and you're not the user. I'm not the user. I try
yeah.
and be and morph into one to learn, but I'm not.
Yeah, no, it's valuable information for sure. It's worth its weight in Bitcoin, I'd say. Watching someone do that.
The weight of the
Um,
universe.
yeah, the weight of the universe. That's it. That's hilarious. So yeah, on the wider, like not just Mash in particular, but how do you see the role of Bitcoin and I guess more specifically the Lightning Network in the future of digital transactions and content monetization?
And there's like the trend that lifts all boats, which is or like the tide that lifts all boats. Sorry, not the trend, the tide or the trend of like Bitcoin is becoming, I think, the global monetary asset in global money. Is
Mhm.
being adopted exponentially, although most people don't realize it just yet because it's still very early. And so will it replace subscriptions and replace X? It'll just become a
Mm,
Bitcoin payment option instead of an X payment option because it becomes more global as more people get adopted. And you hit a tipping point there, and it just
yeah,
becomes one of the options. Then there's the what new stuff can you do and how can that morph and change the landscape? And that is the great unknown we're trying to build. And but I see it. You now have money that moves at the speed of bits of any amount that's programmable, that's interoperable, and not locked into countries and global and decentralized and all that good stuff that you've never been able to do things with before. So all the stuff we're creating and the, hundreds of thousands of other people that will be, or millions of other people that will be over time, I think it's going to change everything.
yeah, yeah. No, absolutely. Um, Something that I've thought, like before getting involved with Mash personally and using your products myself and obviously with BitByte, something that I guess I had my biggest doubts was getting Bitcoiners to actually spend their Bitcoin. Like it's such a huge thing is to get people to actually get rid of their precious sats. There's definitely this like mentality in the Bitcoin community of hodling, obviously, because we want to hold on to as many Bitcoin as possible to, as it eventually appreciates and whatever else. But how have how have you seen, I guess, the acceptance of Lightning donations and monetization been from the consumer perspective? Like, have you found that people are willing to donate a tiny amount of their sats, or is this like a hurdle?
It's an interesting question. I've been asked it a lot. At least when we were pitching to raise money, that was the
Yeah.
like people don't spend their Bitcoin, right?
Hmm.
And I sort of looked at it as like there is your Bitcoin future savings for the Bitcoiners, but if they're such hodlers, then they have no fiat, so they have to spend something. So it's really just a question of will they donate or not, or will they
Mm,
use Mash to get their, we're talking about like load a lightning wall with $20 or $50 and start using it. We're
mm,
not saying sell your one Bitcoin. We're not telling you to do any of that. So they're different spaces.
mm,
Um, and the other one is like just getting people who don't have Bitcoin just to start using it as their first entryway. And there's a lot more
mm.
people that don't even have Bitcoin that can be used in this way. It's still so early. So um, I don't, I think we've heard those concerns, but the behavior does not match the concerns because we really aren't
Yeah.
saying go spend. We're not saying go buy a Tesla with your Bitcoin. That's completely different than saying go like donate 200 sats per click or auto donate 200 sats on articles and now remove all the ads. You're getting value in return. And
Mm,
so that's my long answer to a question of I think it's a valid concern. I think a lot of people think about that way, but it's sort of we're playing in a different world than that world. Um,
yeah.
than the go after the hodler who doesn't sold his bed for an extra sat.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. I've definitely experienced that as well. Like with implementing Mash, that belief I had of like no one's ever gonna donate any of their sats. Everyone just wants to hold on to it. But that's what I've seen, like with BitBuy, with our donations. Like they every time we post an article, like we see donations come in, and it's really cool seeing that the community is very much willing to donate to content creators they care about or donate towards projects that uh you know bring something positive into the community. And like for us specifically, we don't have like a pay to view type thing. It's you are getting the content for free, and then also if you want to donate, like there's just that cool little boost button at the bottom of the screen, and there's no kind of pressure or like pop-up screen that has to tell a user to do that, but we're still seeing the donations come in. So it's a really good testament to the Bitcoin community that they're very much willing to donate 100 sats. It's not breaking their legs, and they can still hodl at the same time.
Yeah. And it's also early adopters and experimenters. Like these are new toys to try and experiment with and see how they work. And also you all are creating awesome stuff. So you deserve way more sats for what you're doing. And so
Yeah.
hopefully we can create more products that make it more fun and get more through the
Yeah.
system for you.
Yeah. Everyone who just heard that, go to BitBuy, click donate, send me 100 sats. No, I'm joking. It's really
Hundred,
fun.
100,000.
100,000, yes. That one person listening to this who is willing to do that, do it. I'll put a screenshot up on Twitter or something. That'd be hilarious. If that happens, I swear. What I guess we'll pull back now from Mash, talking about Mash, and I'd love to know, like obviously your experience in business and entrepreneurship is evident, which is really awesome. And it's I love chatting to you, not even just like about Mash and that specifically, but just like in general, it's really refreshing chatting to someone with a very entrepreneurial mind. Because obviously that's like how I think and work, and that's great. And I know that there's a lot of people who follow Mash and read our stuff who are similar to that. So, what advice would you have for any Bitcoiners out there who are wanting to turn their Bitcoin or Lightning idea into a business or service?
You need to start doing it. Um,
Do it. Yeah.
so it's like you need to decide if it's for you and if it is, and there's always the great unknown. You can keep on searching for answers to everything, but you don't know anything until you start doing it. So it's like you have a business idea for this, go talk to who your customers are. See if they'll
Mm-hmm.
even talk to you. Write the perfect pitch. Create a fake website. Don't even have a product. There's like a concept called prototyping of like, the original Palm Pilot. Do you know how it was ideated? Had a
No.
wooden block in a front pocket. It would walk around, and every time that like wanted to take a contact, would pull it out and pretend that they were doing
That's
it, or like
so funny.
the first, subway tokens to enter the like subway. It was like a person there just looking at the thing and then clicked out release and the person
Oh
could
my
walk through.
gosh.
Or
Yeah.
ATMs was like, will people talk to a machine? We know we can build the machine. They saw the behavior. So um, I think procrastination is the enemy of entrepreneurship. You can over
Mm,
strategize, overthink everything. You just have to start doing and realize it, and for some people it is for you, and for some people it's not. Um, the other thing I'd say is every meeting, every discussion, like it's going to sound bad, but it is a sales meeting. It is a pitch. We're humans, we're social creatures. Everyone is subconsciously evaluating every single other person, every single interaction there with them. And so I forget this a lot, where it's like, I'll write that shitty email to that partner who I want to work with closely. And I know on the other side afterwards, I'm like, oh, they're now going to not trust me on these 4 things because I did that thing.
mm,
So, and just be nice to people. Even if
yeah.
even if they're assholes to you, that happens a lot, and people will just ignore you, ignore them ignoring you. If they're
Yeah.
busy and people don't like confronting. That's the one thing I've
Yeah.
learned. No one likes confrontation, so they avoid it, which I think is way worse. I'll just be like, no, this isn't going to work, and they get offended. I'm like, well, I'd rather you not
What
just be sitting
what are
there
you
in
gonna
like
do?
no man's land. So
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I get a couple of DMs like every now and then from like just on my personal Twitter of people who like I was chatting to a guy. I posted about this because it was not frustrating, but it's something that I get so often. I was chatting to this guy on Twitter, and he was saying, "I got this idea that I want to build. Blah blah blah. It's a great idea. It's really good." And we're kind of discussing it, and I was like, "Well, like, do it." And he's like, "Well, I want to make sure I do this and that." And I'm like, "You wait, like, just get it out, start it, figure it out on the way, get ready, do it, like learn on the way." And he was like, "But I'm scared." And I was like, "Do it scared, like just do it." And then
yep,
I ended up tweeting about it. I was like, yeah, like if you want to build something, do it. And if you want to, if you're feeling scared about it, do it, but just do it scared. Like just
yeah.
get started. It's like 90% of
People
it.
make up like those always the reason why you can't push forward. It's like, well, I don't know how to build a website. Okay, go to TypeDream, go to g2.com, figure out all the no code
Mm,
builders, open up WordPress, TypeDream, this Webflow and X, figure out which one you can figure out how to use, and then just build it.
mm,
Okay, oh,
yeah,
you need a copywriter, like write the content. You need marketing, spin it up a few accounts and see if you can get people interested. Like, um, you can, and that's how you know how to do it. And if you don't do a little bit of that at everything, you'll never be able to manage a team in those because you'll have no idea what they're actually doing and their skill set needs to
yeah,
be. So,
yeah. No, it's very true. So anyone listening that is wanting to create that idea that has been burning in their mind for the last 3 4 months, do it, get it started. The worst thing that can happen is it won't work, but like start and try. You'll never know if you never try.
yeah.
Which is really good advice. For Mash, we're coming into the last couple of questions. So I wanted to prepare you for the Kiss Marry Kill. It is coming in 2 question time. So I just want to get that into your brain. But before then, tell us what are the future features of Mash? What's on the table? What's coming? Any exclusive announcements I can put into the title here? Breaking
Oh,
news.
no breaking news just yet, other than Jared embarrasses himself with this question that he doesn't want to
Yeah,
answer.
that's
Um,
it.
we're leaning a lot. So a lot of we're sort of rounding out a bunch on the community feature side that we're hardening, and we're really trying to tie off and make awesome. We're building a lot more for users to have like a Lightning, wallet to use anywhere and on the go in a variety of different ways. So I don't know when this is going to be released, if it's in like an hour or if it's in a week.
Yeah.
But we should have it very soon. And then we operate, I'd say like every 2 weeks, we take a step back and figure out what do we have to do. And sometimes like, oh, we need to harden some of our infrastructure. And
Mm.
sometimes it's, oh, we can now go deep on these features, or we have to clean up. We have so many broken flows because we changed all these new things. We just have to spend the time. And so, but if you go back to the pillars, we'll be leaning a lot into donations, community experiences, and just sort of like fun Bitcoin things that you can do. But we'll be sure we can do a 5 minute segment where I just tell you the new thing and you can do a headline, and
Yeah,
it'd be
yeah.
like the super with the super boost button, and we can do
That's
that.
it. Super boost. Oh, that's a good idea. There you go. Trademark. No. Something that you did recently just launch though was your voting and poll pages. Like that was a couple weeks ago, was it? Less than a month?
I think it was about a month ago, maybe a little bit less. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, it was pretty recent. Obviously we used it for this interview and it was a great success. And it was so much fun, by the way, just building it. For everyone, I built that. That was all me. It was very easy because the team at Mash made it no code. So they made it very easy, but I felt so accomplished knowing that, like, looking at the page and being like, I did that. It took me 4 clicks, really, like 4 sections to get that done. It's insane that that is something that someone like me can build in 15 minutes.
Yeah. And there's so much more we have to do with it, right? It's like, why is it its own page? Why isn't it just come out of the little Mash button on your site where it could be like, hey, vote on this, and it just pops out. You click a button. We're building up the embeds, collaborators, so you can add people to create them for you, but not access your funds. So there's a lot of like, we're still working on it. It's not done. Or like even, anyways, we added card views, versus views. So you could do Twitter battles and things like that. But we'll see. Then it's like, it seems like it's launched, but it's still going. It's always improving.
It's awesome. And obviously, I'm assuming the feedback from the community has been like incredible. I know that you've done it for some other, you did it for, was it Bitcoin Prog? Did you do a one for that as well? Is that right?
Yeah. So we did that for like who should be in the pitch competition.
That's right. Yeah.
I think that was really successful. I think it was like 18 million sats or so went through the system.
Wow.
And we were like worried at the end. It was like the last 5 minutes is like 8 million, the last 20 minutes, like 8 million sats of like people going up and down. I think we have a lot, I think it worked great, but there's a lot of learnings of how like you engage the community, but you don't let people like just buy the spots, or you do, or you make it clear. So how you do set up these different things and the use cases that it can enable. There's a bunch of learnings there, but I think overall it was successful, and we're actually going to be in Prague, and we're doing a bunch of fun stuff there that we're excited for.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm literally going to be, I'll be in Europe in June, close to Prague, and I won't be going. I feel horrible for it. So we will be very close to each other, but we unfortunately won't see each other. Yeah,
you know what? If you change your flight, we got your ticket for you covered.
Oh,
and a Mash
wow.
shirt, and you can hang out at our booth. A free after party. Don't even have an after party plan, but we'll have one.
We'll book an Airbnb, make it happen. That is so tempting.
You'll do like spots with a bunch of people. I got you covered.
Oh,
cancel whatever plans you were gonna say.
No, you can't say that because I'm there for my best friend's wedding. So it's like the worst thing to ditch is my best friend's wedding. But
unless
I may have
there's
to.
problems with the airplane.
Yeah, dang, I'm stuck at the airport. Oh, that's hilarious. I hope he doesn't watch this, otherwise I'm dead.
No, you're going. I'm sure you'll have a blast. It's, you got to support stuff with like, friends and family. So too bad we'll miss you at that one.
No, oh no, it would have been so good. And this is such a good segue. Weddings, marriage, kissing. Let's talk about Kiss, Marry, Kill. So this is our burning question from our voting poll. Obviously it ended the exact time that we started this, so we obviously didn't know exactly what the question would be or if anything would come in. So hopefully that didn't give you too much time to prepare. But yeah, Jared, Kiss, Marry, Kill, Adam Back, BTC sessions, Knut Svanholm, got that one. Those three Bitcoin gentlemen, kiss, marry, or kill.
I was thinking about trying to juice this this question thing with I just do a Sats giveaway. This is like the funniest one. I feel like next time before I answer it, you need to have like 4 versions of Kiss, Marry, Kill, or like this, and it's like the battle between these things. Okay,
that's
so the easy one
in itself.
Yeah, the easy one for this is kill. Adam Back. He might be Satoshi.
Yeah.
Like he's connected somehow. He's so early. Let's just get rid of all the OG leaders in a way to keep it decentralized.
Yeah, fantastic.
Don't mean it seriously. but I have to
The
choose for this game.
hate's about to come into the comments. All the Adam Back fans. Oof.
Now, I think, sorry, I'm drowning out this segment. I'm making it really long. I'm trying to justify everything. I think what I'm going to do is, I'm a big fan of music. They like being, serenaded, and I've heard Canute plays a mean like bass and sings. So I'm going to marry that.
Yep.
That's a no-brainer. And also, like, it matches like BTC Sessions has like that dope haircut, like just rocking it. Like, we're gonna hang, maybe a kiss or two. You never know. So those are my answers for today's Kiss Marry Kill.
I think they're perfect answers. I think that's hilarious. Thank you. Burning question. That's hilarious. I think I need to, every interview I do now from here on has to include a Kiss Marry Kill. I think it's the funniest question to add in. I think now that's compulsory for no one's going to do an interview with me anymore. Everyone's going to say no, and it's because of that.
You don't need to tell them. I didn't know that this was going to be this. I'm like, this is, anyways. Yeah, it's so funny.
I'll just like merge it in. I'll be like, yeah, no, that's fantastic. The community, and I guess what's going on at the moment with technology. Also, Kiss Marry Kill. Who would you? They're like, what? Serious question. Jared, it's been fantastic catching up, man. I had a blast. It was awesome to learn from you and pick your brain a little bit. I love talking to people who are so much smarter than me, because I am like a sponge. I just want to squeeze out as much info as I can. So it's always incredible chatting to you. And I'm sure everyone else here got so much value out of this. Any last comments? Do you want to plug anything? Socials, website, stuff like that?
Before the plug, I'll say it's been a blast, except for that last question. No, it's always awesome talking to you, and also all the, don't self-deprecate. We'll say we're equally as smart. I learn a ton just by the questions, and all of our conversations are incredibly insightful and helpful in different lenses on things. And so, yeah, this is a blast. Now for you, Kiss, Marry, Kill.
Oh my God. Cut this interview. Okay, bye.
No, I'll plug. Check out our stuff at mash.com. You can see us on Twitter, get mash. My Twitter is Jared NXX, JARED. But really, the only thing I want to plug is, if you try your stuff for like creating things or as a consumer, send us a message with like everything you hate about it, anything confusing, anything you love. It's that's the most helpful thing that you could ever do for us. And buy Bitcoin.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome. Thanks so much, Joe.
All right. Cheers.